All right, Shabbat Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. We're going to start off this lesson by giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rikakadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders and the bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. All right, peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, gentlemen, 124,000, and the rest of the 1/3 that sincerely believe. Okay, so in today's class, we're going to get into the topic of the wine, two topics really, but they work in tandem with one another. The wine of Babylon and Hollywood to the world. Because as we know, or as you should know, if you don't know now, Babylon, all right, is basically the top WikiLeaks cash cow and machine for basically subduing the earth. Okay, these bankers use America, and it's also a patsy. All right, it's a fall guy to seduce the whole earth. All right, with their mindset. Okay, and within America, you have Hollywood, and Hollywood is a highly satanic place. If you don't already know, you have the gates of Babylon right there for you to see what you're entering into. So we're going to dive into the wine of Babylon and Hollywood aspect to the world, and Lord willing, through the Spirit, this lesson is edifying to the hopeful elect. Okay, so you got something, Malak, before we go ahead and head into it?
Khan, yes. My praises to your Bashem Shai. Shabbat Shalom to you folks out there as well. I'm going to go straight to the book of Revelation, the 14th chapter. I'm going to read 3 precepts. 14 from 6 to 8, right? Because the final warning has already gone out, and we are here, Judges 5 and 11, rehearsing the Lord's righteous acts in spirit and in truth, in regards to the message and the destruction of this Babylon, this mystery Babylon, this kingdom. So Revelation 14:6, and it says, I'm going to read it from the KJV. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth. Okay. And we know in the Revelation, only the Lord's elect that he has chosen that's going to receive the gospel. Right? Eternal truth in Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai. And Yahushai is the star, right? Along, and he makes his apostles and his men the star. Okay, and it says to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, right? So the elect that's in every nation, kindred, tongue, and people are going to receive it first, right? But starting here on the in the uttermost part of the world, that the Lord says in Babylon. Okay, a lot of excitement here.
Yeah, that's where the bulk is. You know, when you see these other camps. Israelite camps are jet setting to all these different, in particular IUIC, we know who we're talking about. They jet set to different countries and whatnot. And we call that out as them being carnal, because the Most High put the spirit on this devil, right, to create the internet, right? So you don't have to jet set everywhere, because the prophecy, if you're following prophecy,
that's right.
The prophecy is that the bulk of the destruction of Israel and the salvation of Israel is going to be happening here in America, right? So the focus is over here in America, but we know that we have Israelites and believers that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. So what? The Lord put the spirit on this devil to create the internet, YouTube, where we can just do lessons and people can watch them when they have the time to watch them. So these guys jet setting to all these places across the world. Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. It's unnecessary. Okay.
Shabbat, Shabbat
Shalom. Beautiful.
It's unnecessary, right? So that's how you know they're not guided by the Holy Spirit.
That's right. And just in case you're bucking up against this, that the brother just broke this down in the simplest way. It says saying with a loud voice. And you dummies, you need to look up what the word loud is, okay? And understand that it's the Spirit of the Lord and the message has already gone forth. But anyway, it says, saying with a loud voice, fear our power. That's what we know this word to be. Here, fear our power. And definitely, it's only going to be the elect will have that spirit of fear and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come. And we're in the hour of temptation, right?
Mhm.
And it's getting more and more intense.
Yeah, it's coming. We're almost at the peak of it. You know, you're
That-
seeing,
Mhm.
you know, the technology being presented. You know, this
Okay.
devil's presented it by the way of convenience and entertainment,
That's
right? Because our people are too stupid, frankly, okay, to see that the MOT, the RFID chip is the MOTB that the Bible speaks of in Revelation. So they're gonna take it, okay, and as soon as they take it, that's it. They have signed and sealed their demise when the Lord brings his judgment.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Mhm. For the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. Right. And for you dummies out, well, just be clear. Just keep it simple here, man. You guys don't understand who made the earth. I'm not gonna go in depth into it. Okay. Who made the heavens and the earth? Okay. There's an order to how things are done. Right. And it's prophetic and it's deep. Right. Who made the heavens and earth? And a lot of you people, I'll just say this, man. You try to jump over Yahweh Shai, okay, to say that you have a relationship with the Heavenly Father. Okay. But anyway, let me leave it at that. Final
Okay.
verse. Final verse. Revelation 14:8, it says, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen. Okay. So we're going to go into a lot of the criterias and the things that they're doing that's causing this place to fall apart in regards to what the Lord is doing and what prophecy says, right? It's fallen,
Yeah.
is fallen. Go ahead. Go ahead, take your
Yep.
time.
No, it's just, you know, we did a lesson a couple weeks ago on, see, when it comes to the wine of Babylon, there's many aspects to it, right? There's the financial aspect, there's the entertainment aspect, right?
Mhm.
There's the food aspect, right? And there's the ideology aspect and education aspect. So there's a lot of aspects that are involved in the wine of Babylon, right? And they're all the aspects of an economy, right? So he's basically spread his ideology throughout the global economy. You see,
That's right.
via the UN, right? And also mega corporations. These mega corporations, what do? They set up shop in other countries for what? Cheap labor. When you go to Egypt, you can see a McDonald's, a KFC, you know, in Egypt. Whose rendition is that? That's America's rendition on Egypt.
Mhm.
You know, America's spirit, the spirit of America has flown to Egypt, has reached to Egypt. So that's another aspect of the wine being spread out through the global economy.
That's
Through
right.
what? These mega corporations, right? They set up stores and they set up stores and factories and companies in these countries, right? And put these countries in debt, right? And then, you know, Esau does what he does, you know?
That's right.
So
You put beautiful.
is that it on that?
Almost finished. It says
Okay.
Babylon is fallen, that great city. Again, we won't go there, but it might come back up. Great city is going into America, and we can prove that the book of in the same book, the 11th chapter, tells you about Mystery Babylon the Great, right? And Revelation 17 as well. But that great city, because she has made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Simply put, brother, just broke it down before if you missed it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, so I got this video actually from the elder of the camp. So shout out to Elder Yoramia for this video. Very edifying. You know, I watched it. This is like the third. I watched it like 3 times over. Yeah, because there's a lot of meat in there. So we're gonna skip around in this clip. And you know, Lord willing, there might be other lessons going into other aspects of the wine out of this video, because they go into a lot. But as you see here, the title in this video, it says Hollywoodism, how the Jews, well, yeah, hey, we're in some crazy times right now, man.
That's
Damn.
right.
Hollywoodism, how the Jewish invented Hollywood, 1998. Hopefully the algorithm doesn't pick it up. Everything's, according to the Lord's will, right? So, but yeah, man, great video. I recommend every believer and brother to go out and watch this video, and you can really get a lot of insight on these devils, man. Okay, and what they've set up today. So, I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip. And this is fair use, fair use, fair use. None of the channels on this panel are using this video or making money from this video. This is just being used for educational purposes only. All right. And we're not giving no medical advice as well. So fair use, fair use, fair use.
On learning and the finest expressions of music and art. At the same time, the experience of being on the margins meant that your identity was integrally tied to the maintenance of popular culture, collective norms at the lowest common denominator. And the combination of a commitment to high culture on the one hand and an appreciation of low culture or popular culture on the other was the perfect preparation. Adolf Zucker turning to a Sarah Bernhardt for a popular film, I think, is a case in point.
Adolf Zucker believed that to attract the middle class, one had to change not just the theaters, but the films. Bypassing Edison, he imported from France this film, featuring a famous stage actress. He premiered it in a Broadway theater. Not wanting to depend on Europeans for quality films, Carl Laemmle and the other Jewish exhibitors began producing their own films. Edison decided that the Jews had overstepped their bounds. To shut them out in 1908, he organized a producers' trust.
So just to give a bit of a backdrop, you had Amalekites, right? Fleeing Germany, or no, sorry, fleeing Russia to America. Okay, and Amalekites are biblical. It's a biblical nationality of the Jewish people. Okay, so the Amalekites, the Jewish people, came down here, and basically they were shunned by all the different kinds of Christians in America, the Protestants, Jacobites, so on and so forth, and they weren't given access to any jobs, concerning the economy. And I'm just summarizing. You're gonna have to go into the history for yourself. So they turned towards the movie industry, but all these people that set up the movie industry were financed by the international bankers of Esau Edom. Okay, that's why they were able to do all this. So I've done videos in the past going into how Hollywood is the wand of America, because you go back to the name Hollowwood, right? The holly tree and the Druids, right? So Hollywood is the city that America uses to basically cast a wand on the whole world and America itself. Because the whole idea, as we're going to get in this video, the whole idea of the American dream came out of Hollywood. And that idea of the American dream was basically spread and implanted and throughout the four corners of the earth. Everybody came to Canada or came to America to live out the American dream from wherever on the earth. So that wine, that attractiveness started out in Hollywood for America. Okay, the three main places was Chicago. So the most booming places in America's early years, I guess, or in the turn of the century. The turn of the century was New York, Boston, Chicago, right? Those are the three main places, and then you had Hollywood coming up in the scenes. So I'm gonna play the clips. I'm just giving you a backdrop as what's going on.
That declared a monopoly on film production in America. 7 years later, Edison's trust would lose its monopoly in the courts. But in 1912, to escape Edison and the goons he sent to enforce his control of the industry, the future moguls headed west to the orange groves of California. Here they found immediate success.
And as well, the word, you're going to hear the term mogul, movie moguls, which just means a big time movie star. Okay, when you look up the word movie mogul, if a brother wants to look it up, mogul is MOGUL, and it'll tell you it's a big time movie star, top legend movie star. Okay, like Will Smith would be like a movie mogul.
Now, why did they move to California? I believe that they went there because California was a raw social environment. And although there was a social system in place, it was nowhere near as sophisticated and nowhere near as entrenched as the social hierarchy in Boston or New York or even Chicago, where these moguls came from. So coming to California, they realized that they could create their own social environment. They could create an empire of their own, not only on screen, but within their own lives and their own social environment. And that's precisely what they did.
In 1915, Carl Laemmle had decided to open a very large plant in the valley north of Hollywood, which they called Universal City, and they got themselves a postal designation for Universal City with its own mayor.
Yeah, Universal City. So they opened up a whole ass studio called Universal City. And it's funny, throughout this whole documentary, they never go into how these Edomites were funded to get all this and to do all this. How did they get the money to do all this? As they're about to explain all the different aspects of this Universal City that they bought.
Which they called Universal City, and they got themselves a postal designation for Universal City with its own mayor and its own police force. A gigantic.
You hear that? It had its this place had its own mayor and it had its own police force. So they were literally building a city, the city of Babylon in America, spiritually. Okay, or Nineveh as well. Okay, Egypt, all these other spiritual places, or all these other places that America spiritually is patterned after.
Facility. Themselves a postal designation for Universal City with its own mayor and its own police force. A gigantic facility that includes all necessities for designing films, building sets, photographing them, editing them, costuming them, writing the scripts, housing the executives, all under one piece of property, which he would people with his relatives, very famously brought over from Laupheim, Germany. And they were very pleased that this was, the first movie-making city in the world.
Among the movie industry.
So a lot of them came from Germany as well. And just to keep in mind, this is before World War I and World War II. Okay.
Industry's 30,000 employees are men and women from nearly 300 trades and professions. Following Laemmle by 1920, Harry Cohen, Zucker, Goldwyn, Fox, and Mayer had set up their own studios, Golden Shuttles, where each was clearly in charge.
Show me what you are made of.
Okay, so
I got a word
so
mogul.
some things were said there. Yeah, Baba Kashad, go ahead and get that.
This is Adam Online. Mogul, powerful person. 1670, so in the 1600s. From great mogul from the 1580s. Oops, phone went out. Hold up, bear with me. From the 1580s, the common designation among Europeans for the Mongol Empire of India after the conquest of the 1500s, 1520s from Persian and Arabic Mughal alteration of Mongol.
So the main point was what you the main point is what you said earlier. Yeah, a powerful person. So these movie moguls were powerful people in the industry of motion picture, right? Which is what you call movies. It's a motion picture. So I got this precept here in Psalm 73 and 7. Let me read down to verse 12 in NLT. And it reads, these fat cats, right? Having everything their hearts could ever wish for. And this is talking about the top wicked elite of Esau, Edom, and the heathen nations. They scoff and speak only evil. In their pride, they seek to crush others. It says, they boast against the very heavens, and their words strut throughout the earth. And so, and it says their words strut throughout the earth. And what you're seeing is how has Esau's words and his mindset, his ideology strut throughout the earth via television, entertainment, Okay, that's one of been that's been one of the biggest forms of getting into the minds of people, the minds of the people of the world, is through entertainment and television, social media. Okay, so that's how you know this man's working witchcraft on the mind, right? And it goes into it in this clip. So it says they boast against the very heavens, right? And the heavens that they're boasting against is the Heavenly Father, His Son Yahweh Shai, and the rest of the prophets and the angels. Okay, and their words strut throughout the earth, and so the people are dismayed and confused, drinking in all their words. You see, and you have people who come from different countries to America, and they completely change their morals and values. Why? Because they're drunk and they're dismayed and confused coming to America. Listen, the Americas, both Canada and America and South America, that whole place, this whole place over here in the West, it's an illusion. It's not real. The idea of how your life should be, it's just a whole country based upon capitalism, and capitalism is about capitalizing on what you do, and you will do anything to capitalize. So there's a lot of treachery, there's a lot of cheating, there's a lot of lying, there's a lot of killing, there's a lot of murdering. You know, so this is a wicked place. This is a heavily demonic place, man, and it changes people. So it says, and so the people are dismayed and confused, drinking in all their words via television, entertainment, education, right? What does Yahweh Ba'ashim Yashai know? They ask. Does the Most High even know what is happening? And this goes into the pride of Esau Edom, because remember, the Lord said, you thought because I was quiet, you thought I was as yourself. You thought I was altogether as yourself, right? And Esau, not knowing that the reason why he's being given power to rule is because of our disobedience. So he's being used as a whooping stick from the Heavenly Father upon his own children. Doesn't mean you're going to be ruling forever, but he's let that position of being the hammer of the earth get to his head. And now he's contesting against the Most High and his son. Okay?
Right.
So it says, what does Yahweh know? They ask, what does the Most High even know? Does the Most High even know what's happening? Look at these wicked people enjoying a life of ease while their riches multiply. And this is Esau Edom, man. And 2/3 of our people, okay?
Right.
In the bag and join hand in hand with Esau.
Quick precept. I'll just going into
Go ahead.
Jeremiah 32 and 33 and 34, right? Just speaking about our people caught up into this madness, right? And this is what they do. 2/3 of our people. It says, this is Jeremiah 32 and 33. It says, my people have turned their backs on me and have refused. I'm reading from the NLT. And have refused to return, even though I diligently taught them. They would not receive instruction or obey. They have set up their abominable idols right in my own temple, defiling it. And I want to comment on this real quick. We saw it, but all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yashai. You showed us people like the Pegger and so forth like that. These guys, man, come up with their nonsense.
You mean Pegasus?
Yeah, we see that. We watched Bubble Eyes for years. All these guys, all that stuff came from outside, man. All right.
Yeah.
So, but that's all I'm going to say about that. There's lots. Okay, but I just wanted to emphasize, simply put, turning their backs, and the Spirit is not working with them. The Spirit is not working with Babylon in terms of righteousness.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And if you can't see that, you're completely gone, and you actually need to be destroyed to be in your right mind. This place is completely wicked, man. Right? There's nothing fair or just about America and Canada or South America. This whole place, starting with America itself, is completely wicked. Okay?
That's right. I'll just read the next verse, right? For you folks real quick. It says they built pagan shrines to Baal in the Valley of Ben Hinnom, right? And this is spiritually going into America, okay? And there they sacrifice their sons and daughters to Molech, and I have never commanded such a horrible deed. It never even crossed my mind to command such a thing. Wow. What an incredible evil, causing Judah to sin so greatly. I'll leave it at that. So
that's what you got to do when you're making it in Hollywood, right? You got to sacrifice your soul. You got to sacrifice a family to make it into Hollywood, and that idea has been spread out through all of America. So if you want to come into America and live out the American dream, you got to sell your soul. That's why when you read in Revelation 18, it says that this place was filled with not just slaves and all the merchandise and the frankincense and the myrrh and all that, but it was also filled with the souls of men, right? Because all the people that came here sold their souls to be a part of the system of America, of Babylon the Great.
That's right.
Okay.
Singer to Casablanca, to My Fair Lady. So he must have been doing something right.
There's a very romantic notion that Hollywood movies were made by artists. The director and the writer, and to a certain extent the stars, actually made these movies. Those were the real artists, and these guys were only businessmen. I would place the artistic sensibility not with the director, but with the studio head. And for those who say, well, this is ridiculous, I would say, from beginning to end, the executive had the primary input into the picture and supervised every aspect of production, over and above the fact that beyond any individual picture, it was the executive who created the entire studio apparatus. Every producer who worked there, every director who worked there, every writer who worked there, and every star who worked there was part of the larger system that was created by the Hollywood Jews.
You see?
I'm not sure
and that's
that
the same today. That's the same today. Every single celebrity that you see in the world, whether it be an athlete or a movie star or a rap star or any kind of form of entertainer, they are a part of an industry that's controlled by the Jewish people, who are the Amalekites who come from the nation of Esau, Edom, which is the representation, the physical manifestation of the spiritual demon Satan. They represent the wicked on the earth.
That's right.
See?
was an, quote, American dream.
Listen to what
The Hollywood Jews.
I'm not sure that there was an, quote, American dream before the Jews came to Hollywood and invented it. What you had was a westward movement, and you had the idea of freedom, but you didn't have what we have today, which is a popular culture that creates dreams. It's a dream factory.
Once the studios were in place, the Jewish moguls produced hundreds of feature-length films each year. Movies that presented America with a new vision of itself. A vision that was very different from that of the establishment filmmakers of the Edison Trust.
And so Hollywood didn't just give America a new vision of itself, but Hollywood gave the world a new vision of itself as well. That's why people will move from their countries, right, to come to America and live out that American dream. So you heard that Edomite woman. She said there was no American dream without the Jewish people, setting up in Hollywood. Right.
I got a quick percent back with you.
Go ahead.
Going into the topic and also going into the land of milk and honey, because at one point it was a place for you to be successful to make money. I'm going to read the book of Matthew 16. I'll read from 25 to 27 in the NLT. And it reads, if you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, you will be saved. And that's also going into the MOTV.
That's right.
On that day, you're going to be, it's either my life or the MOTV, which one is it?
Yeah.
Verse 26. And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your own souls? And we see it in the music industry. movie industry, the sports, because most of these people, is Amalek who owns this company, and he's the one that profits, right? Verse 27. For the Son of Man.
Amalek is the industry owners, the CEOs, the producers, you know,
Wizard of Oz.
Doctors. Yeah, Wizard of Oz. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to make it in the music, he owns the record label, so you got to go to him. Verse 27. For the Son of Man will come with angels in the glory of his Father, and will judge all people according to the deeds. So that's why this place, America, Babylon, the Great, needs to be
destroyed,
eradicated.
Yeah, exactly. I got this precept here. This is Nahum 3:3. It reads, "See the flashing swords and glittering spears as the charioteers charge past. There are countless casualties," and this is in NLT, "heaps of bodies, so many bodies that people stumble over them." And this is going to be the end of America. Okay, the end of America is destruction by nuclear missiles and the invasion of Yahushua and the hosts of heaven. Okay, so it says, as this all this because Nineveh, which is spiritually America, and all this because Nineveh, the beautiful and faithless city, mistress of deadly charms, right? Enticed the nations with her beauty. And what was that beauty? That beauty and enticement was Hollywood. See? And the beauty and enticement of Hollywood brought about what? The American dream. The American dream. Hollywood was a cash cow for America and these small hats to really take over the minds of the people in America and then the whole world on top of that. Okay, so it says the mistress of deadly charms, right? Going to the television entertainment, enticed the nations with her beauty. She taught them all her magic. And listen, you have to understand, all right, those of you that sincerely believe, when it comes to Esau Edom's, when it comes to magic and witchcraft, you're not going to see it and understand it by in the lens of how it was in the ancient world. It's good to know that, but we're not in the ancient world. We're in the present world today. And they're still doing the same thing. So you have to be able to see witchcraft in today's present world. And witchcraft in today's present world is highly pushed through social media, television, your phone, music, you know, entertainment. All forms of entertainment is run by Esau Edom, and he's the devil. He's the physical counterpart of Satan. That's how he uses his magic. It works a psychology on the minds of people. Edom's going to bring it out. So it says, entice the nations with her beauty. She taught them her magic, right? Which is his ideology through television entertainment. In enchanting people everywhere. I am your enemy, right? Says the Lord Yahweh of heaven's armies. And now I will lift your skirts and show all the earth your nakedness and shame. And that's what's being shown and being done with America. America is being presented as a laughing stock, right? As a you know, they have a cruel lord, DJ Trump, and a lot of information is coming out on Esau Edom himself, the nation of Esau, right? So-called white people. A lot of information is coming out, like this. You know, Apostle Ramlab and the elder, I forgot his name, but Slake, but his channel is GMS. Keep pushing on, if I'm not mistaken, or dedication. Keep your dedication. And they're going into a senator in Massachusetts or Massachusetts, if I'm not mistaken. And basically, he's the mayor, right? So he's a politician, and he was rushed to the hospital for taking too much. Horse sperm.
Horse. Yeah, horse sperm.
Hey, what the fuck, bro?
What's his name?
You gotta
Tim?
think. I've got his name. It's Tim something, but like, look it up.
Yeah.
Look up Mayor rushed to the hospital. Those of you at home, Mayor rushed to the hospital because of horse sperm.
Yeah.
And it's not just because he consumed it, but he consumed too much.
Too much. Yeah. Yeah. That's
you know what I mean. So how much is too fucking much? How much is too much, man?
Damn, disgusting. I'm drunk.
And you have to ask yourself, why was he consuming that? What is he doing that for? What's the reason?
Oh my
these
God.
Politicians, these guys, and these CEOs, they're involved in high level, satanic worship. Because they're all part of cults. Being a politician, being a CEO, being a philanthropist, being a billionaire, being in that group, right? You're just a part of. It's just like a higher level of college. You have your sororities, you have your clubs that you're a part of, but now you just have a bunch of money. You see, so when you're a part of a club, there's rituals and there's procedures that are specific to that club, and not everybody's part of the same club. Tim Waltz, that's his name. Tim Waltz, the water brother. This is Yahweh Shem Yashab GMS as is written too. You know, Tim Waltz, look him up. He's consumed too much of horse sperm. So these devils are wicked, man, and everything, and their shame is being exposed. So let me finish it up here.
And you know, sorry to cut you. I remember where they all started all of this shit from a long time. They're taking the little babies.
Oh,
they're
man,
taking little babies and drinking the blood.
Hey, that's nothing, man. We have to think if a mayor is doing what he's doing with horse sperm, he's a low level guy. He's a low level guy. So how much more are the bankers and trillionaires and multi-billionaires? How much more of what they're doing? Okay, every time you take a walk to wherever you're going, under you, okay, is the underground torture treatment for children. They have underground cities. Like, we're in a wicked world, man. We're in a very, very wicked place, and we don't even know the extent of it. Hence why the scriptures say that Babylon's wickedness have reached onto heaven. In reality, man, we don't actually know. We just know what we see and what the Spirit gives us through faith. So finishing up, it says, verse 6, I will cover you with faith, or slacking. I will cover you with filth, okay? And show the world how vile you really are. Remember the Jewish people crawling out of the gutters when they had, mattresses with baby clothing, children clothing, and stains on the mattresses? You see? Right? Verse 7, it says, all who see you will shrink back and say, Nineveh, it lies in ruins. Where are the mourners? Does anyone regret your destruction? And guess what? The people that won't regret it are the elect, but the people that will regret it are the heathenistic nations, because they've made copious amounts of money off of America, because America is the biggest consuming nation on the planet Earth. So they've made copious of money on America, off of America. So go ahead, Bunyamin.
No, that was it. That was
okay. Come on. So we'll continue here. I'm gonna skip ahead in this video, go into these small hats, man, and how they came up.
With a new vision of itself, a vision that was very different from that of the establishment filmmakers of the Edison Trust.
Be optimistic, don't you be a mourner, brighten up that corner and smile. Don't wear a long face, it's never in style. Be optimistic and smile.
They got to put their hopes and aspirations and mythologies about what a perfect life would be like, which is something I think people probably spend a long time thinking about when they have a very imperfect life with a great deal of persecution, disempowerment. What would the system be if we could make it up and show it to you?
I want to make.
So that's what Hollywood was for. Hollywood was set up to be a system, right, of Esau's ideology and dreams of how he wants the world to be run, and he spread that throughout the four corners of the earth through entertainment. Now, what you're seeing with Esau and technology, he's basically recreating life in his own image, right? You have in the Most High's image, you have fruits that have seeds. In Esau's image, you have fruits that don't have seeds, right? In Esau's image, you have men that could be women and women that could be men. In the Most High's image, you can't do that. So he's recreating everything in his own image. And eventually he wants to, that's why he's getting into the transhumanism, joining man with machine. He's trying to create all life in his own image. And he started through Hollywood getting into the minds of people, okay? As she just broke down.
Make that come to life for every boy in this land. Yes, and I'll write it up like that too. You see, boys forget what their country means by just reading The Land of the Free in history books. When they get to be men, they forget even more. Liberty is too precious a thing to be buried in books, Miss Saunders. Men should hold it up in front of them every single day of their lives and say, I'm free to think and speak. My ancestors couldn't, I can. And my children.
Yeah, and he's talking about his ancestors, which are Edomites. You hear that he said every boy should liberty shouldn't be hidden in a book. But how did we get our liberty? Through the book, which is the Bible. Right? And then via the Holy Spirit. So what you're seeing is through this man's entertainment and movies and stories, he pushes out a mindset of forget relying on what the Most High said, how we should live. Let's live how we want to live, because his foreparent is Cain. And Cain was told to bring a certain kind of sacrifice, and he brought the opposite. So Cain had a spirit in him from the very beginning to do things his own way, opposite from the way the Most High set it up to be done. And that's the people that you see today running the earth. Okay? They're doing things the way they want to be done, the way that they want it to be done. And they're convincing the world to follow along with their image and their way via entertainment. That's one way that they did that, which is what we're, exposing right now.
That's right.
The Jewish determination to survive was repackaged as the will of all common people to go on.
Yeah, it was repackaged as the will of all common people to go on. So what they did is they took their own mindset and their own lot, and they basically immersed the whole world in their own lot. Let's all try to survive. The ideology of we're the people, we survive. That mindset and that identity actually belongs to Israel. We're the ones who are always the underdogs from the very beginning. Ever since we fell, going back to Adam, we've always been underdogs. We've always been the people counted out, but always succeeding through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem El Shai.
That's
Okay,
right.
and here we are again today doing the same thing via the prophets, the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. No one is considering us men here on this channel right now. We're doing a live lesson. No one, all right, barely anybody, if not 99% of the world is not considering us to be the sons of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Ratzah, we're the elect.
That's right.
So we ain't shit to them. You see? But that's the way the Most High works. He always works with the underdogs.
That's right. I have something here because if I may bring this out, Book of Ezekiel.
Real quick, hold on. Let me finish this up, and you got it.
Take your time.
You're taking a beating.
I know.
As the will of all common.
I can. And my children.
The Jewish determination to survive was repackaged as the will of all common people to go on.
You're sure taking a beating.
I know. That's what makes us tough. Rich fellas come up and they die. Their kids ain't no good and they die out. But we keep a coming. We're the people that live. They can't wipe us out. They can't lick us. We'll go on forever, Pa, because we're the people.
Yeah, that's the pride of Esau right there.
That's the pride that they have. Yeah, that's the man.
Right, and they get that from their ancestor King.
That's right. That's right.
Isaiah 14:5. Beautiful.
And that's why they have us drunk That's why they have Jake, I should say, not us. We're woke. We're weak. But they have Jake drunk in their philosophies, man. And
Yeah,
in their
because
old
it's really
ways.
about Jake.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right.
Uh-huh.
They have Jake drunk in Esau has Jake drunk in the philosophies, right?
Mhm.
Because Esau's philosophies is really a rendition of Jake's philosophies.
That's right.
You know?
And they have their idols, right? They
Yeah.
just made
Yep.
everything into idols. So they have their gods, their idol gods, man. They're Babylonian idol gods.
Mm-hmm.
And they have us, not us, but Jake worshiping their gods, their customs, man,
Yep.
under other deities and stuff, right? That they
Yep.
set up.
Yep.
Different names. They have all these different names that if you call on, that's why if you study about them, they have the Cabal, and it goes into a lot of ancient gods. Like when I mean gods, deities of pagan gods,
Yeah.
right?
Hey, no, they're gods.
Yeah,
But
there's
the
many
God
gods.
that runs them is the Most High.
That's right. That's right.
So,
There's
yep.
only one God, and these nations don't have they don't have Yahweh Shem Yahushai. They don't have they don't have
Yep. Hey, brother got a precept?
I got a precept here. Can I bring out something? This is second. This is just going into the same things that we're talking about on the topic. This is Second Kings 17 verse 33. I guess that's right there. It says they feared the Lord and served their own gods after the manner of nations whom they carried away from thence. Unto this day they do after the former manners. They fear not the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, neither do they after their statutes, or after their ordinance, or after the law of the commandments which the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel, with whom the Lord
No, go ahead, finish up.
With whom the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai had made a covenant and charged them, saying, He shall not fear other gods, nor bow yourselves to them, nor serve them, nor sacrifice to them. But the Lord your power, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt with great power and stretched out the arm, him shall he fear, and him shall he worship, and to him shall ye do sacrifice. And the statutes and the ordinance and the law and the commandment which he wrote for you, he shall observe to do forevermore, and he shall not fear other gods.
That's right.
Which these guys only created their own gods that our people are taking custom to. So they're being whipped with that wand. When you go into that wand, that wand that they wave, the Hollywood, they're being under that curse, man. That whole facade, that whole you know the word,
Yeah,
delusion.
The Most High put it. The Most High gave them up to that curse because the Most High rejected them.
That's right.
A lot of brothers that you see teaching this word, man, we had aspirations in the world. All right, we a lot of us had talents where we're going to be professional this, professional that, and be in Hollywood and do everything that you see that celebrities of so-called Negroes and Latinos and Native Americans do. We were going to be partakers of that, but the Lord gave us life and eyes to see what's really going on. You see, it's all an illusion. That's the whole point. She even said that Edomite woman. She said, "What Hollywood? All right, the dream or the idea of an American dream never came about without the Jewish people, because Hollywood was a factory of dreams. It sold dreams. You see, so you were always asleep. Right? You were never awake, which means when you're asleep, you're dead. You were dead, right? So us being awake and us not dreaming and being in La La Land comes from the Holy Spirit being put into us and being awakened to this wild, man.
That's right.
So that's it on that, Ak?
That was it. That was it. Sorry about that. Mhm.
You're good. That's good.
No, that's good because that I got something here beautiful because simply put, there's no bomb for real quick. There's no bomb bomb for this
Bomb for the
Babylon.
pain.
Yeah, bomb for the pain, only destruction. So I'm going to read real quick 3 verses from the book of Ezekiel, the 24th chapter and the 9th verse, right? And of course, Jerusalem is caught up in there in terms of the wickedness that is happening. So this is, I'm going to read it from the NLT, Ezekiel 24, 9 to 11. It says, "This is what the sovereign Lord says. What sorrow awaits Jerusalem, the city of murderers. I myself will pile up the fuel beneath her. Yes, heap on the wood. Let the fire roar to make the pot boil. Cook the meat with many spices, and afterward burn the bones." And here's the point, verse 11, right? This is what awaits. It says, "Now set up the empty pot on the coals, heat it up, red hot, burn away the filth and corruption." Okay, so that's the solution for those who do not fear Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That is not set up.
Yep. A purifying agent of fire.
That's right.
That's your solution. A purifying agent of fire.
That's right. That's it. And you know what?
Is it on that?
If I may read to the 13th verse, because I did want to, the word lewd was mentioned.
Come. Yeah, get it out real quick. Come.
Yeah, it says, "But it's hopeless. The corruption can't be cleaned out. So throw it into the fire." Yep. Verse 3, Ezekiel 24 and 13, excuse me. "Your impurity is your lewdness, and your corruption of your idolatry. I tried to cleanse you, but you refused. So now you will remain in your filth until my fury against you has been satisfied."
And the Lord, and the Lord tried to cleanse you through the prophets.
That's right.
Because the prophets are speaking Yahweh Shai's words. And that's how you get cleansed. You don't get cleansed by your favorite teacher, okay, or who you follow. You get cleansed by the truth that's being spoken, okay? It goes into your mind, and then you follow it. You see? So that's the Most High cleansing the nation of Israel through the elect. And those that are meant to hear are of the elect. Those that aren't are of the 2/3 are going to be destroyed on this side with a horrible destruction.
Beautiful. I'll read verse 14 because you already broke it down in regards to the instruction given. It says, "I, the Lord, have spoken. The time has come, and I won't hold back. I will not change my mind, and I will have no pity on you. You will be judged on all the basis of your wicked actions, says the sovereign Lord." That's it. Yeah.
So like,
he has spoken.
Go ahead, Ashar.
Yeah, I have a quick percent once you're done playing the video.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, come.
Going into topic and also going into integrity. There's men in this truth that have been touched by putting them in that position where you're being tested, whether you want to continue following this route or continue with Isa. Because I remember there was a brother in our camp that he was into music, right? He's no longer with us. So I'm going to read the book of Job 1, Job 1, 6 to 10 in NLT, and it reads, one day the members of the heavenly court came to present themselves before the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and the accuser, Satan, came with them. Verse 7. Where have you come from? The Lord Yahweh asked Satan. Satan answered the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, I have been patrolling the earth, watching everything that is going on. So the Heavenly Father have Satan here testing us as well.
That's right.
Verse 8, then the Lord Yahweh asked Satan, have you noticed my servant Job? And I'm sure the apostles, they get tested because you gotta think the way the apostles think, you know, the way that the knowledge that they have.
Oh yeah,
know?
we all get tested according to our own level.
Okay. So they probably have some heavy demons attacking the man of the Lord. And he is the finest man in all the earth. He is blameless, a man of complete integrity. He fears Yahweh and stays away from evil. And that's what we're trying to do in this place. You know?
Yeah.
Verse 9, Satan replied to the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, yes, but Job has a cure.
Which being integral requires faith because you can't see the Most High.
That's right.
Yeah.
Verse 9, Satan replied to the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, yes, but Job has a good reason to fear Yahweh. Verse 10, you have always put a wall of protection around him and his home and his property. You have made him prosper in everything he does. Look how rich he is. And that's one of the reasons some men put in that situation where like it's either the truth or the money that you can make in this place. Verse 11, but reach out and take away everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. So Satan was like, let me test this man and see if you have integrity, right? But Job lost everything. You know?
Exactly. That's it on that?
Yeah, that was it.
Khan. I got this here in Malachi 1 and 2. It says, NLT, I have always loved you, says the Lord Yahweh, but you retorted, really, how have you loved us? And it says, and the Lord Yahweh replies, this is how I showed my love for you. I loved your ancestor Jacob, but I rejected his brother Esau and devastated his hill country. I turned Esau's inheritance into a desert of jackals, right? Which is America. America is an inheritance of Esau, and that's going to be turned into a desert of jackals and all kinds of foul beasts. Okay?
That's right.
So it says here, Salak.
We're at 5?
Yeah, it was at 3. Sorry. Oops. I went down a little bit. So it says here, ancestor Jacob, jackals, verse 4. It says Esau's descendants in Edom may say, we have been shattered, but we will rebuild the ruins. But the Lord Yahweh the Lord of heaven's armies replies, they may try to rebuild, but I will demolish them again. And that's that spirit of Esau. He's pushed out to the world, is the common life of a so-called Jewish person. We the people, we fight on. They can never eradicate us. We fight on, right? So, but the Lord Yahweh.
Sorry to cut your song, just like how that woman in the video was talking.
Yeah,
remember
exactly. That's what. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But the Lord of heaven's armies replies, they may try to rebuild, but I will demolish again. Their country will be known as the land of wickedness, and their people will be called the people with whom the Lord Yahweh is forever angry. You see? When you see this, when you see the destruction for yourself, you will say, truly the Lord Yahweh's greatness reaches far beyond Israel's borders. Yeah. So Israel's borders is talking about you heathens, starting with Esau, Edom. Beyond that is you. So he's going to deal with you. Okay. Starting with Esau, Edom. So I'll play a little bit more and then we'll close it out. Okay.
What's this all about?
The Moguls created a fantasy version of their own lives. They created an America where families were strong. The flight from persecution had destroyed their own family.
So they lied, right? They created a whole version of their own selves and their own families through entertainment in Hollywood.
The movies showed the family as indomitable and treated mothers with reverence. The immigrant Jews also appealed
And they worshiped the mother, of course.
to the aspirations of youth, another group of perennial outsiders forced to prove itself.
George Washington was just a kid when he chopped down that tree. But if they locked him up for that, where'd this country be?
They call us thieves, you know. They think they must direct us. They think we're babes, you know. We'll make them all respect us. Whether we got our own.
Theirs was a mythical America, a world of boundless optimism, happy endings, and homespun truths. This was a world of clapboard houses with broad verandas and white picket fences, gleaming streets and shops with friendly picture windows.
Sorry to put this is when niggas were enslaved.
All of America was made up of citizens who were industrious, religious.
No, I'm sorry. Like, Jake don't remember that they've been in slavery picking cotton for these friggin' Edomites, eh? Jake don't remember where they're coming from, eh? They don't know nothing.
I know.
They're bugged right the fuck off, man. Okay, and look what Esau showing me. The way they were living high and big and this and that. How long they've been ruling, you know? and us, Jake, is thinking that we're something, and Jake is nothing. Look how they're on top of the world and in your face, showing you how they've been living back then. That's what we're not here to envy and watch how they're living. But I'm just saying, like for you dumb freaking niggas, man. You know, you gotta, like, when are you gonna wake up, man?
The wine is strong.
It's crazy.
That's right.
This is crazy. But play the beat.
Just wholesome and decent. Although they were of different classes and ethnicities, they were knitted together by a larger, almost spiritual sense of family. The Moguls created the images, the icons, and the visual forms that we identify with the American way of life.
They created their own America, an America which is not real America.
So they created their own America, but America that's not the real America. Because America was inhabited by Jake at first. So Esau came in and he really just turned that shit upside down.
It's their own version of the real America. But ultimately, this shadow America becomes so popular and so widely disseminated that its images and its values come to devour the real America. And so the grand irony of all of Hollywood is that Americans come to define themselves by the shadow America that was created by Eastern European Jewish immigrants who weren't admitted to the precincts of the real America.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay.
Let me get it.
You know what? That was my last precept. I just wanted to bring that out. Any lasting precepts or statements from brother before we close up?
I was gonna get that bastard from Ashdod. Just to one moment. Let me just go. 1 second there, brother.
Let me.
Yeah, go ahead. Get what you got. Get what you got, brother.
Yeah, there. Actually, let me get this real quick. Baba Kashad, Revelation 18:3. Real quick. It just says Revelation 18:3 NLT. For all nations have fallen because of the wine of her passionate immorality. The kings of the world have committed adultery with her because of their desire for extravagant luxury. Okay, which is money, right? For the desire of money. The merchants of the world have grown rich. Then I heard another voice from heaven, come away from her, my people. Right? Don't take part in her sins, or you will be punished with her. For her sins have piled as high as heaven, and Yahweh Bashim Shah remembers her evil deeds.
Yep.
That's it. That's it for me. Go ahead, Benjamin.
I was gonna okay, let me just bring out this one. This is Romans 1 verse 21. It says, because that when they knew Yahweh, they glorified him not as Yahweh, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. This is what I'm just saying. Our own people. was blinded. The Most High gave them up to imagination, where they just been off. They went off following all these other strange gods. The so-called Edomite right now, these people who are running it, our people,
so-called Esau, or so-called white man. He's the Edomite. He's the Edomite.
That's right. That's right. Not so-called white man.
Yeah.
So our people are under the what do you call it?
The spell.
The spell.
The wand of Hollywood.
The one. Yeah. So when you jump down here now, verse 28, I'm gonna jump to Romans 1, verse 28. It says, and as they did not like to retain Yahweh in their knowledge, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. So I'm just saying, our people became reprobate, man. They're in a deep sleep. They're not awake, and we've been pushing these videos week in, week out, day by day, to wake up the 1/3 and the elect of the nation of Israel. And we're here waiting.
Yeah, they got demons on them, man. The Most High put demons on you to not receive this truth.
That's right.
So, hey, it is what it is, man. We just got to teach the truth. And whoever gets saved, gets saved. That's it. We're looking to be saved, man.
That's it, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
But
go ahead, Malak. Is that it on that?
That was it. I just wanted to,
straight
them know. Yeah, straight to the point.
No, yeah, real quick. I was going to bring something out just to tie it in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because you read it, right? But in the book of Ezekiel, the 8th chapter, real quick, it says they had it says that they have their face to the sun and their backs towards the temple. So yes, 2/3 of you will get it, and that's because of your wickedness and your disobedience. Your setup. The Lord put that spirit on you. Okay,
it's adultery.
Right.
That's what you're saying. It's adultery. Their face towards the sun and back towards the temple is that they would reject Yahushai, because the temple, Yahushai is the chief cornerstone of the temple.
That's right.
So rejecting the temple is rejecting Yahushai and rejecting the prophets.
That's
but their face would be towards the sun, which they would be worshiping idols, in particular Jesus Christ.
That's right. That's why the brother read that precept before, okay, going into the result of rejecting the Lord. But let me get to this real quick on the perpetrator in here, the main character of wickedness. So this is Zechariah 9. I'm going to read straight through, and the point is in the 6th verse, from the 4th verse to the 6th verse. It says, behold, the Lord will cast her out, and he will smite her power in the sea, and shall be devoured with fire. Right? And these are some codes, right? In regards to America today, Ashkelon shall see it, and their fear in Gaza shall see it and be very sorrowful. Okay. Right? And Ekron.
Well, that land is going to see missiles too. Right? America's going to see missiles. Russia will see missiles. China will see it. But also that land, the so-called Holy Land, right now, will see it as well.
And there's of course some prize that are selected there to see it, who are Israelites from these places as well. And it says, and be sorrowful, and Ekron, for her expectation shall be ashamed, and the king shall perish from Gaza, and Escalon shall not be inhabited. Okay.
Sure.
And here's the point, verse 6 of Zechariah 9, and that bastard,
yeah, man,
shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines.
That's right.
More, because we know who those Philistines are today.
It's beautiful.
Starts with that guy.
Hamites, so-called Africans.
Right. But we know who's over there, right? He's got that little cap on.
I got a scripture.
Spiritually speaking. But go ahead, brother. That's all I got on that.
I got Psalms 81. I'm gonna start at 8. It says, "Hear, O my people, and I will testify unto thee, O Israel, if thou wilt hearken unto me. There shall no strange God be in thee, neither shalt thou worship any strange God. I am the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, thy power, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it. But my people would not
Which is your
hearken to
mind.
my voice."
The mouth
That's
is
right.
talking about your mind. Open your mind up to the
Yep.
truth, and He will fill it.
That's right, 100%.
Mhm.
But my people would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me.
The prophets.
So I gave them, verse 12, so I gave them up unto their own hearts' lusts, and they walked in their own counsels. Oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways, I should soon have subdued their enemies and turned my hand against their adversaries.
Yep.
They
yeah,
hate
enemies.
the haters.
Adversaries.
Yep. I just read this last part here. Verse 15. The haters of the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai should have submitted themselves unto him, but their time should have endured forever.
Wow. Gone. Beautiful, man. Yeah, man. So, hey, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the whole full elect of the nation of Israel. And like I said earlier, in the spirit, Lord willing, we'll be able to do other parts of the different aspects of Babylon wine, because right now we went through a bit of Hollywood. There's more when it goes into Hollywood, but we might do a part 2. We'll see. Everything is via the spirit. But anyways, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the whole full elect. All right. We're going to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. All right. As well as the bishops that have taught us his word in truth and sincerity. And peace and mercy to the whole full elect, starting with 144,000 and the rest of the 1/3 that sincerely believe in his words. All right. Of Yahweh Shai. Peace and mercy to you and your household. Above all, Chama Shalom, and Shalom to the whole full elect. Shalom.
Shalom.